Well, hello everyone, it's Kari and I'm back with a fun video using the brand new Rose Artisan Flora dies from Crafty Meraki. Look at these beautiful roses I've made. This first card, I wanted to create a cherry parfait rose. So I did some cherry parfait and some red roses on that one. But today I want to show you how to create a peace and love rose. Now these dies are unique in that each section creates a different rose flower. So that little tiny one is for the bud, the big one is for the larger rose, and then the medium one is for this size rose right here. Now the Love and Peace rose is one of my favorite roses of all time. I used to have them growing in my rose garden. I currently do not have any roses right now, but this was one of my favorites, and it is a yellow rose with a little bit of pink around the outside. So I'm going to show you real quick how I created the cherry parfait rose first. And the cherry parfait rose is a white rose with a little bit of red or dark pink around the edges. So all I did for that one, which was on the first card that I showed you, was I just took some red ink and I inked around each of the edges. And then also in the smaller pieces, I did a little bit darker in the center. So that's this one we're creating right here. But the Love and Peace rose is a yellow rose with pink around the edges. So we're going to create some of those today too. And that's what I'm going to use for our card today, which is going to be a slimline card. So we can use so many of these beautiful roses. These are super simple to put together because there is a little triangle and all you have to do is line up that triangle to meet right in the middle right there, and it glues this rose together perfectly. It creates some beautiful textures and dimension on this little rose here. So see that? Super simple. And then you put this centerpiece right in the middle at the top right here, just like this. It lines up with the edges very simply. And then you add these two smaller pieces at the bottom, and that's going to cover up the little triangle piece. So you're not going to see that in the finished result. So see how simple this one is to put together. And I love these roses. These are some of my favorite dies ever for roses. Just beautiful dimension, beautiful blooms. So there's our little bud right there, or the medium-sized rose. Now let's go ahead and make the large rose. And this is going to be the Love and Peace. So I'm starting out with some distress ink in yellow. This is the mustard seed color. And you can see I'm inking up along the bottom of each of these panels of the rose. I'm not going all the way to the top because the top is going to be inked on with some pink. And today I'm using the picked raspberry color with a smaller brush. So I can just ink barely along the edges, just like this. I'm going to continue doing this on all of the different layers of the rose, and I'll even add a little bit to the center pieces as well. So the center will be pink and yellow. And I'm just going to skip over, and here we go. Here's our edge pieces. Finish up this last one right here, making sure that the edge on this one is on the bottom portion because that's going to be the edge of the rose. And then I'll darken up the center a little bit with that yellow. And now let's put this one together as well. Again, super simple. I just love this triangle so you can line them up very easily. I have the layering guide right next to me, but really I'm not having to reference it very much because these are super simple to figure out where each piece goes. So the layering guide is very helpful though, so in case you forget, you have got that to just show you exactly how these pieces fit together. There's no guessing on this. Very, very easy. Now this piece is going to go right here, and then I'm going to add the edge layer of that piece, which is this one right down here. And I love the dimension that you get from just layering up the pieces. I'm not adding any foam tape at all to this one, just using some liquid adhesive to put this together, and you still get such an amazing result. I'm adding the last piece right here, and you're going to see that this one lines up with that piece right down there. I wanted a little extra pink around the edge on that side. So there we go. That's going to fit just like that. So there's our big rose. Beautiful, beautiful blooms. For the bud, it's super simple. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of pink, and then we'll put this one together as well. I am using my grip mat here to make it easy to color up these smaller pieces. And I do leave the plastic on the back of the grip mat so I can turn it and ink it any which way. Makes it just so easy for me. And this little piece, you could use your tweezers to add to it, but I found I could also do that just with my fingers. And there we have the little bud, very easy to put together. So we have all our flowers. I actually did a few more off camera. And now for the leaves, I've cut them all out of a light green cardstock, but I wanted them to be a little darker. I'm bringing in some dark green to ink on so we get that same inked on feeling and some variation in those leaves. You can see I'm making it a little darker on the bottom of each of the leaves, just like that, and I'll finish coloring all these up and then we can put our card together. So here are all our pieces, our beautiful love and peace roses. I'm just going to add the stems to each of these now, and you can see there's only a couple different pieces of the stems. I do find that it's easier for me to use some tweezers for these little pieces to add on top. This one goes just like that, and then this one can be added to the medium size rose just here. So I'll attach that just like that, allow that to dry, and there is our medium rose. This is of course the cherry parfait rose. So it's white with some pink or dark pink all around the edges. And now for this one, the bud, there are also a couple of pieces to the stem for this one. So I'm using my tweezers, lining it up on the right hand side, and then that will go right on top of the bud, just like this. There we go. So this was a really fast card to put together, by the way. I just wanted to let you know, sometimes when you have layering dies, they take a while, but this was relatively quick. So I have a bunch of roses that I made here, and this is the general layout that I want to do for our card today, but I want a beautiful darker background. So I'm going to take some Oxide sprays, and I'm going to start with Salvaged Patina, and that's that one right there. And then I'll do some of this tumbled glass around the edge. And then also I want some darker colors around the edges. So we've got some of this darker Uncharted Mariner. I'm just doing a little bit. And then also some Villainous Potion around the very edge. I got some nice variation in color and some beautiful spots. I'm going to take my heat tool and hurry this drying process along. In the meantime, I did build up that high foil plate and die. I cut some extra highs from the die and built that up with a little bit of pink shadow showing through. Now I will take some press and seal and pick up those flowers so that I can easily add it to our new sprayed panel. So I'll take that panel just like this. I'm going to put that down, and I will also ink around the edges with some darker Villainous Potion to make it feel a little more cohesive around all the edges. I just wanted a darker edge, so it's something simple to add real quick. Give it that look, and there we go. That's going to work out perfect. Now I'm going to take this and line it up, and I'm going to use the hinge method that I learned from Dawn Wolfslegel. She uses this method quite often in her card making, where you just kind of press down the edge and peel over the items that you're wanting to glue down. I'm going to add the glue rather quickly. She does it in layers, but I just wanted to add this whole bottom layer all at once. And I thought I had plenty of time before that glue dried. So I'm going to add that lower layer just like this. And then I'll still have that top layer to add. Now the top layer the leaves were a little more spread out, and I didn't want them to go over the edge as much as they were. So I'm going to go ahead and place those one by one. See how the leaves kind of go out a little too far? So if you don't have press and seal, don't worry. You can still do this without the press and seal. Just add each piece one at a time. And while the glue is still wet, just work very quickly to add your other pieces just underneath. So you can still peel up that rose and add the leaves and the flowers underneath. So I am working very quickly to do this before that glue all dries. This is going to go like this, and it's going to frame our beautiful high that is foiled and die cut. Now, if you don't have a foiling machine, a hot foil machine, there are also high stamps and dies that coordinate so that you can cut it out without the foil, and you can make that layered, beautiful look just as easily. I will link all of those below so you can go take a look. I love the foiled look on this high, so I did do the foiling as well. So now all we have to do is add this entire panel to the card base, and I'm using a very thick card base so it's nice and sturdy, especially since it has to hold up all of these roses. We've got a couple of each of the kinds of roses there. And here's a closer look at our Love and Peace rose. Look at that foil that shimmers and shines. You can see a little bit of the pink shadow behind it there. And here's a little close-up of those roses. It's so beautiful with the two-tone effect. And if you don't have colored cardstock, this is a really fun technique to use with your inking, to use a couple of different shades to make these kinds of roses. There are a lot of other kinds of roses that are different shades as well that you could choose and change up your inks. I hope you enjoyed today. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I'll be back real soon with more to share. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.